Hello and welcome to the Tough Cookie podcast. Today I've got Fran with myself. Hello, Fran.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Are you managing Christmas overwhelm?
I am indeed. Yes, I am. I'm very well planned, very well
organised. I'm going to put that one question here as well. So Fran is a yoga teacher and mindfulness teacher and helping others to understand that yoga and movement is for everyone, no matter the size of the body, no matter the age, no matter the flexibility, fitness level. And today we're going to be speaking about the mindfulness and practices and tools that can help women through the perimenopause and menopause to manage symptoms, stress, overwhelm. So Fran, when you look back, or could you share your experience first? How did you go through the menopause? And if you use some of them tools, do you think that could have helped you in the past?
Yes, I really do, because I started perimenopause in early 40s. And back in the day, I mean, I'm 62 now, so there wasn't an awful lot around then. It's much more public now, much more open, there's much more support, which is fantastic. But back in the day, it was still, 20 years ago, still quite quiet and nobody really spoke about it.
No, it was not a topic.
So there was you didn't even hear about HRT much or seeing your GP about it. And my mum had died, my nan had died, so I had no kind of older female relatives to speak to. I lived at the other end of the country anyway. So I kind of started going through it very much on my own. And I have some awful, awful memories, kind of flooding. And I hope it's not too much information, but I've stood up in meetings and thought, oh God, I need to back out of this room, and I had to rush to shops and back, because a professional job, you need to feel clean and tidy, don't you? So, and packing extra clothes and things like that. So I got my little extra stuff that I needed, and memory wise and forgetfulness, absolutely.
No, they just awful. Brain fog as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it wasn't written down, I mean, I still write things down now. If it wasn't written down, it wasn't happening. And I kind of felt like it took me back to when I was pregnant and forgetful and hormonal, teary, hot and bothered. But there was no joy in it, because there was no little bundle at the end of it. There was nothing to carry you through.
No.
There was just this bewildering stuff that was going off. So me being me anyway, I kind of read up and looked into what was going off physically. But I also realised that kind of ex-counsellor and things like that, that mentally, psychologically, a lot of that impacts how we go through anything in life. Anything in life. And I kind of found myself trying to think of it and frame it in the sense of, this is just the next phase of life. This is something to be gone through. Yes, it's going to happen. I can't stop it. However it rolls is however it rolls. Find some help. So I did see the GP for flooding and got some medication for that, which worked quite well, which was great. Nothing they could do for foggy brains and hot flushes back then. And aches and pains and just generally feeling really tired. But I try to, as I say, frame it in the sense of, this is a phase that I'm going through. I got through adolescence, I got through pregnancy, I got through divorce, I've moved house a million times, all these things happen in life, and how you approach it. And now there is much more of a positivity and a lot more information out there about it. All those things, I think, kind of help you, dare I use the word, embrace your menopause and your perimenopause, instead of thinking, oh God, oh woe is me, this is dire, this is awful. And it is awful, don't get me wrong, it is dire some days, it is. There were days I couldn't leave the house, so I just thought, I can't physically leave, because I felt physically and mentally unable to leave, just like caught and anxious. And work were really good, and so look, even days like, oh, you need to work at home, you need to work at home.
Oh, that's good. So the work was supportive.
They were great, really great. So I could work on teams and things like that until, you know, I felt a little bit more sorted and nobody was any the wiser out there, because you can keep it together for a while and then go, oh, afterwards, and go and have 2 minutes, you know. But I think, you know, for me looking back now, I mean, I was in the gym and things like that, which again created its own problems at times, going to the gym and feeling like a wet lettuce. But, you know, I think it kept me positive, and I think it kept me going. It certainly built a lot of strength physically. It certainly, I think, brought a lot of mental strength from the point of view of I felt good, you know. Yes, my body was changing. Yes, it certainly wasn't where I wanted it to be internally. But do you know what? When I'd worked out of the gym, I'd come back and I think, I feel good. I feel good. I've got those nice, happy endorphins running around, and you think there is something that I can do. There is something I can enjoy. And I do think it is a lot about getting that help and how you frame it yourself, that you walk into it thinking, this is going to happen. There is no stopping it, but I'm going to find that way forward. You know, I'm going to find a way forward. I'm going to make it work for me and come out the other end. Still you, but more you, potentially. You know, I discovered things like painting by numbers, you know, all things like that, which sounds really childlike. But for me, to spend, you know, everybody go to bed, and about 10 o'clock, my easel will be up in the corner, and I just have half an hour. My husband sometimes will be like, "You still painting, love?" Yeah. And I was just so happy, and I think.
Was it because it was relaxing? Yeah?
Relaxing, yes.
And letting you to switch off as well? Or?
I switched off and focused.
Yeah.
Which focus lacked a lot in the day at times, because drawing it all together when you're trying to do your job and manage it, I had a team of 10 trying to manage all that. And then I felt like I couldn't focus, and I thought, oh God, I'm just useless. I'm just useless. But then when I found I could focus, I think I can focus. I just have to take a little step back, look after me. And I found that when I did little things like that, the next days were smoother and felt better. And I felt felt better, you know, from that point of view.
Did you have any other techniques, anything else that you've practiced at that time to help yourself?
I did practice breathing. I found it online at the time. Long, slow exhales were key for me, because I'm a very organised person. I'm a very, by nature, mile-a-minute person. So foggy brains and all that kind of thing, anathema to me. Absolutely detested it. I just thought, why? You know, I am the organised one. Everybody comes to me at work. Everybody knows I am always on my game. And suddenly, I wasn't always on my game.
Yeah, and you couldn't really have impact on it because it was out of your control.
Yes, but breathing was a massive help, and slow breathing, nice and steady, to calm me down, to bring me back here, literally just to calm you down, because sometimes you feel like you're on the edge, you know, on just looking over, and one false move and you're down in some way, you're down, you slip. But breathing used to just allow me to go, okay, just take a moment, just slow it all down. There is no need to rush. You can take some time. And taking that attitude and stepping back was a massive help.
Were you doing it during, for example, work, or were you doing it at a certain time of the day? So it was like, oh, you were waking up and having a routine, or it was more like you were going through a day, in a moment when you felt this way, you then use the breathing to calm yourself
and
relax?
Both.
Okay.
I always try, in the shower is my favourite time to practice mindfulness.
That's a great idea.
You should try it. The warmth, the bubbles, just that sound of the water, and 10 to 1, there's nobody else around. And it's lovely, just those few moments, and just breathe and just let that water whoosh over you, the smell of your bubble bath, all that kind of thing, and it just draws you into that present moment. And it's a lovely, lovely way. And when I start my day like that, because I usually shower of a morning, and I just think, oh, that's really nice, it's lovely, and just all comes together, and it's all your senses, you know, this fragrance, the touch, that warmth, that quietness.
So it's just really being present in your body.
Very much so, and reconnecting, because we're often very disconnected from our bodies. We're rushing around, always feeling tense, always feeling wired, you know, and we don't check in. How am I feeling? Oh yeah, my shoulders are really tight. Oh God, I'm gripping my tummy, really holding it tight. Oh, my kneecaps, crikey, how tense can you hold your kneecaps? And when you go through that and you go, literally, as I've just done it now, you lower that, you let your tummy go, you let your knees go, and you think, yeah, that instantly
it's like
feels
sinking
better.
into the chair, is it?
Instantly,
like letting.
Yes. And it's just paying attention. It's just taking a little bit of time to notice your breath, to notice how you're sitting, to notice where you're holding that tension. So for me, certainly mornings were great. And then in the days, if I knew I'd got big meetings coming up and things like that, and even now, I mean, I coach people pre-interviews and things like that, you know, they've said to me, I don't get jobs because by the time I get into the interview, I'm a gibbering wreck, you know. And 2 or 3 people have come, and one of them, you know, is very close to me. And they said, I just never get this job. I said, you will this time. And they did. And I said, before you go in the morning, you need to be focusing on your 4x8 breath. Before the meeting, don't do 4x8, you'll be too slow. 4x4, nice and steady. And then lots of interview tips. When you get in there, if you need to breathe, reach for the water, take your breath, sip your water, put it down. There'll be water waiting for you. Ask them to repeat the question and go, so in answer to your question, I said, because if you don't pay attention to your body, it makes you pay attention very often by breaking down or by stuffing up, like in interviews. You're like, yeah. Oh yeah, I can do that. Rabbit in the headlight feeling. And you go, I don't know the answer to that question. I never revised that. What is it? You know, but if you can pay attention and be mindful and bring it into your day, and I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I am not a Zen master. If somebody cuts me up in the car park and I've been waiting for that car park space, I'm like, really? Seriously? You took the one space? You know, I am no Zen master, but what I have learned is if you, a little bit like we were saying earlier, if you take a step backwards, take that nice breath, listen to your body, draw in, and then just take those few moments. Just, if you do nothing else, just notice your breath and breathe. Because 10 to 1, your breath is racing. 10 to 1, your mind is racing. And if you pause and breathe, I promise you, your body will slow down. So will your mind.
Could you say, Fran, you say 4x8. Did I say it right? Yeah. Could you explain the breath, like escape, because there is box breathing and the one that you mentioned.
Yes.
So I do know what you meant, but I feel like for a lot of listeners, they may not know what you meant.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, when I'm doing it, you get used to it, don't you? But yeah, what we're trying to do with any breath basically is move you from sympathetic nervous system, which is wired, absolutely on the edge, you know, like a bus is going to run over you any minute, which is usually how most people function. And you're breathing about, 12 breaths a minute, mainly in your chest as well. It very rarely gets down. And not that we breathe in our tummy, we just use that phrase. So what you need to do is shift from that stressed, high cortisol state into parasympathetic. Now, the best way I always describe that is, you know, when you've had your Sunday lunch or your Christmas dinner, seeing as we're nearly at Christmas.
Yeah, we are.
And then you go, you've had your dinner, you go, oh, I couldn't eat another thing. And you just want to slump, don't you? And you feel tired, you feel relaxed. All is good with the world, and that's where we need to get your body with your breath, okay? So breathing in for 4 and out for 8 is a really, really superb breath. There is box breathing, little harder to manage and not always, it's not what I would advise first off. But if you breathe in for 4, out for 8, long and slow. If you can't make it to 8, because some people can't, again, you've got to learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
And I would say get it to 6. Yeah. So long as that out breath, the exhale is longer than the in, then you're going to start shifting into that parasympathetic, feeling.
So breathe in for the count of 4 and then exhale for 6.
Exhale for 6.
Minimum.
8 if you can get it to 8.
Yeah.
Yes. It's really, really good for relaxing you down, for easing you out. It's a lovely breath, you know, when you're laid in bed and you can't sleep and you're hot and bothered, especially with menopause, things like that. Or you've just got everything buzzing around in your head. You think, oh, for heaven's sake, you know, focus on your breath. Your mind will wander and you'll start thinking, oh, I haven't done that to-do list. Oh, I know. And you think, breathe in.
That was one of my questions because so many women, especially now at this time of the year, they juggle so much and they're so overwhelmed with Christmas presents, wrapping, Christmas parties, all the social occasions, and trying to please everyone else and do everything, and then finishing projects at work, doing overtime, and it's so hectic and they struggle to switch off and they are so busy, and as you said, they are so stressed out, they feel they don't have time to slow down. And that slowing down, that mindfulness, that breath feels like another thing on the to-do. And I know that myself, because when I wake up in the morning and I know how much I've got on my to-do list, I don't really want to slow down, sit down and think of just, I'm going to breathe, because in my head constantly I'm going to be like bombarded with all the thoughts and my and I'm thinking the quicker I start in a day with to-do list, the quicker I'm going to go through it so I can do more things. And it's like a chasing that tail from early morning till night and not making that time for the pause. And so I find, like, it might be my personal experience, but I feel like a lot of women will be struggling right now to convince themselves to stop because they are not wanting to stop. They feel like they don't have time for stopping. There's too much to do now.
And I get what you're saying, and I'm listening to that phrasing, you know, there's too much to do. I can't stop. I don't want to stop. So what I would say is, are we rushing out of habit? And if we reframe it, and, you know, shift things about a little bit, and also the word no. The word no. No, I don't have to go to I've been asked to 6 work parties.
Boundaries then, setting
I've
boundaries.
said no to everyone. So I thought, I'm not going to one, I'm not going to any of them. Set your boundaries, really important. And I think, you know, when you are in the menopausal state, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and pressured. And as a woman nowadays, there's an expectation that we should be all things to all people, you know. I often say we earned the right to vote and education, but which is fantastic. Please don't misread me. But we still manage home and hearth, and we still generally raise the kids, you know. So what we were given was fantastic, but we still got all the rest as well. Thank you, men. You know, thank you for being so kind.
It's like having double job, isn't it? It's like working 2 jobs at once. Because it's like looking after children.
We got the right to work, and so we work. And now most women have got to work, you know, to make the finances meet. And I get that, being there. But what I would say is the word no can be your best friend. And also saying, you know, yes to some things. Yes, I will meet up with my best mates because I need that support. Yes, I will go to the gym and look after myself, you know, and say no to you because you'll be waiting next week anyway. You're fine, you know, and things, you know,
prioritizing in a way as well.
It is. And I know, you know, friends will say to me, oh God, my pops are still sitting there. And I said, they'll be there in the morning. Get yourself to bed. Get yourself to bed. Just, it's the work. And I think there's such an emphasis that we have perfect homes, lives, and that women are seen to be all singing, all dancing. We're not. We're human beings. We are human beings. Just like the men in the family. You know, they don't fret about the pots, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, you know, all men are like this.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah, absolutely. The caveat is, you know, but in general, we balance and juggle an awful lot. So you can say no, you know, and you can prioritize it. You know, even for myself now, I'm out the other side, but I still hang on to that. Actually, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. And it's hard. And you look people in the eye, or you send them a quick note. I'm really sorry I can't make that. But once you've done it, you think, oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I needed to say no, And you find, again, that just builds up your own power as well. And that sense of, being that autonomy, which we can lose as you go through different phases of life, wanting, as you say, to please everybody. So, no is a good thing. And also, we all only have the same amount of hours in a day, So, but your perspective you take on that, on what you want to fit in and prioritise is what's important, Is it an absolute must that 6 lots of laundry get done today? Can I get away with 2 so I can have a coffee? Because, even if it's just a coffee, catching up with EastEnders, because that's what makes you feel good. Then put 2 loads of laundry on, watch EastEnders, have your coffee, or go and meet your friend for an hour while it's going round, or have them round, and just, take that bit of time. Practice your yoga. It might not be the same time every day, or go to the gym. Because what we do, I think, is, particularly at this time of life as well, we have a tendency to prioritise the wrong things, at times, and not think about ourselves. We want to be all singing and dancing at work, I'm sure there's a lot of occasions at work where, you can say no. And I've said no, and my boss has said no, about certain things. And I've said to them, she said, oh, it's not like you to say no. You usually love new projects. And I'm like, no, I can't take on a new project. I'm dealing with what I've got to deal with. There'll be somebody else in the company that can deal with that. And they take that. There is somebody else that can do it. I don't have to do it.
I sometimes think like there is that conditioning. We, by agreeing, condition other people that we always are going to be those yes woman, yes man.
Absolutely.
And then there's that expectation that, she always agrees, she always does it overtime, she always sacrifices her lunch and do that extra thing, so I can count on her. So then it's that subconscious pressure on like, I'd better just say yes now. And it's like in the moment when you say no, a lot of women feel guilty for saying no, even that no is for their goodness, their own goodness, but they don't see that. They think like, what that person is going to think of me, what my boss is going to be thinking of me if I'm not going to do them overtimes, what someone will think of me, if my friend, if I'm not going to go for that group meetup, what they're going to be speaking about me when I'm not going to be there. And I think there's those loads of things around thinking of the perception of other people, how they perceive me if I will say no. For some people, it's easier, especially the ones who don't care. You say whatever you say, you do whatever you do. This is my life, my health. I prioritize my health better more than this overload or that extra hour of overtimes. So I feel like sometimes it depends how we start thinking about ourselves and how we start prioritizing our own health in our own minds, and then make a decision from what is actually good for us, what is good for me. And as you said, like picking the things that makes you feel good, gives you more energy, like that workout that makes you feel better, that mindfulness or little breathing session that makes you feel better. But then asking, is that meeting up for this 6th Christmas party giving me energy, or is taking energy away from me?
Taking and draining, and it's done you no good, and you really wanted a great day with the family the next day, but you're waking up feeling icky for the sake of saying no. And what I would say is, once you've said no once, it does get easier.
It does get easier.
People do respect no. They might, as I had, it's not like you to say no. But there was somebody else that could do it. There is. We're not indispensable.
I always say that even if you were not to show up at work, somebody else will pick up that work.
Exactly. And I think in the nicest possible way, we need to remember that. We need to remember that when we're thinking about ourselves, because to our family and things, we are vital, So if you can say no occasionally to other things, then I personally think that's really empowering, Bosses usually take it on the chin. I'm not advising you going every day, so I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing that, But those things where you get that feeling, you think, I really could do without that. Try a no.
Yeah.
Try a no. And if you can't say a complete no, say, well, I could do the preparation. Can I hand it to someone else at that point, please?
Oh, that's
Could
a
you
good
give me
idea.
a named person? Give me a named person, and then I'll hand it over and I'll have it ready by Friday. And then you can step away knowing that Fred or Alice is going to take that on.
Yeah.
I bet you've not, it's so kind of practice.
Practice
run.
It's like easing yourself into saying no without saying no.
Without saying no, because it is hard to say no, it is. And I think the hardest thing to say people to say to is people that, you know, very close to you, like your friends, your family, you know, but there are certain things that you need to say no to, you know, and people do respect that, because otherwise you come, you know, like you say, there's that expectation, you become almost you know, a doormat kind of feel. Oh, she'll always do it.
It's not taken for granted.
That's the phrase I was looking for. Yes. And that's not a good place really to be for yourself.
Long term, it's very draining.
It's very draining.
Person very empty.
Yes. I mean, I think most of us will make an appointment for a haircut, you know, or, I mean, I'm a one. Nails done, that's my one treat to myself, you know, kind of thing. And we all do that. We all make time for that. A good hour or two for your hair, for your nails. We find that time. But then, you know, people will say, oh, I don't have time for, you know, breathing. I don't have time for being mindful. Yeah, you do. While that kettle's boiling, breathe, move, practice your tree pose.
Yeah.
You know, zen it out with your tree pose while your kettle boils. Build your balance up, build your strength. And when you've held that tree pose for the 2 or 3 minutes it takes your kettle to boil, boy, do you feel good. You know, setting off from a little wobble, and then you're like, kettle's completely boiled and I'm still in tree pose. Yeah. You know, and I think so there's little wins, there's little things, especially at this time, when your confidence can be really rocked. I read a post this morning, it's on Facebook. Anybody else feel like me? I just want to sit and cry. I just feel miserable. Can't have HRT for some reason. I don't know. And I just thought, oh, I really, really feel for you. You know, I really feel for you, because you are in that place where it's all woods and trees, and you can't see where to start, you know. And I think that's it sometimes, like joining the gym in January. You all want to be fit and healthy by January 14th, don't you? You know, it's not going to happen. Same with the menopause. You could be going through it for years. Yeah. Absolutely years. And then you just think you're out of it. And then lo and behold, you think, oh, not quite. You know, so I think, you know, start small, looking after yourself. Find those little wins. Use affirmations, things like that, you know. If somebody says, oh, you're always teary. Yes, I'm a sensitive person and I can express my emotions. Much more positive, isn't it? You know, instead of thinking, oh God, I feel so
How would you say to someone, I had recently a person who was saying like, oh, I'm really struggling with writing affirmations. And I feel like when I was practicing that with some of my clients in the form of journaling, they struggled. They didn't know what to put in there, how to create those affirmations. So when somebody is starting, how would they know what that affirmation should be about?
And I think people struggle with them, just to take a step back, because we're not used to speaking nicely to ourselves. They're all too often, oh, that don't look nice. Oh, I feel awful. Oh, this or that or the other. And we don't talk to our friends like that, do we? We always say, oh, God, your hair looks great. Wow, you look fabulous today. When do we say that about ourselves? We very rarely do. Unless we've rocked up to a wedding and we're all glammed up and we think, rocking it today. Most of the time, we don't speak nicely to ourselves. And I think that's why affirmations sometimes can be really hard for women especially to write. I am powerful. I am intelligent. I am creative. I am a sensitive soul. And I think they can be really hard to write because, as we've said right from the beginning, there's that emphasis on that perfection for women, isn't there? You know, and we present that front. So when somebody asks us to strip back and say, find an affirmation about yourself.
So it is very much writing, so starting with I am, and then writing positive about yourself that you want to reinforce within yourself.
Think of 3 things that you can like about yourself. Maybe it's the colour of your eyes. Maybe it's the fact you've got long legs, you know. Maybe it's the fact that you're really, you make everybody laugh. You're the life and soul. Everybody says, oh, party into party without you. Think of 3 things you can do an I am for, and hold on to those. And then slowly but surely add to them. Now, if you go into the gym, you know, I am physically strong, probably mentally strong, because you're doing things there, you know. So find those little I ams that are you know, because I know most of us roll, oh, my nose is too big, my legs are too short.
It's that inner critic.
I wish I could run a 10K in under such time, you know. And it is that inner critic, and it's a horrible voice. It's a horrible voice usually. It's not usually kind. It very rarely says anything nice to us, you know. Even if we got 10 out of 10, it'd say, but you could have probably answered that question a bit more fully, couldn't you, Francine? You know, and I think, yeah, probably. Where's that come from? You know, I got 10 out of 10. Be proud, you know. So
it's hard to give yourself a tap on the back often.
It is, yes. And I think we like that. And again, at that stage of life, when everything is overwhelming, when you do feel teary, when you do feel rubbish, and your body's not doing what it used to do, you're not feeling like you used to feel, if you can find some I ams to hang on to, you know, I am getting up every day, I am going to work every day, you know, those things, you know, I am funny, I am intelligent, I am really good at what I do, those kind of things, I think, are really strong messages to give to yourself, to repeat to yourself, to pin up on your fridge door, you know. And it sounds twee, but 10 o'clock at night, when maybe you've had a really rubbish day and you've done your yoga, you've done your breathing, and you just think, oh God, I still don't feel great, but you can go to your fridge and there's a note saying, you know, I am, or you are, whatever.
It's a reminder.
Hold on to that. Hold on to that, because sometimes it's the smallest of things that pick you up. You know, you might have done all your wonderful things that we've talked about, and your breathing, your body's kind of, that kind of thing, then just still feel it, bleh, you know. So, and I would always say to people as well, much as I am a believer in you know, that holistic approach, never forget you have got your GP. For some of the practical things, sometimes I didn't have HRT, but I've got friends that use HRT and they say it's amazing.
Yeah, they do praise a lot.
And sometimes on the HRT, then it allows you to do the yoga and the mindfulness, because it's lifted your hormones back a little bit and adjusted them. So then you can step into that next phase, and find those good things and the I ams and all that kind of thing. Lots of stuff out there, lots of groups to belong to, you know, to give you that support, because I think that's really important as well. Have that network so that, you know, you can pause, you can message a friend kind of thing, feeling a bit rubbish, you know, and your friend messages back, but you're bloody amazing, woman, you're knocking it out of the ballpark, girl, you know, and you think, yeah, man, take a couple of breaths. Yeah,
that little pig back up.
Yes, exactly. And I think we do so need that. And as I say, just to, you know, embrace it. You do come out the other side, and things have changed. But I guess for me now, looking at it in that tumultuous and amazing times and dire times, I've kind of on the other side and thinking, do you know what? It's pretty good when you're out the other side. It's pretty good.
I've heard that from few women.
Absolutely. New strength, new confidence in yourself, and a certainness, you know. Somebody said to me today, they said, oh, why are you kind of gone a bit pink with your hair and a bit short? And I'm like, yeah, she said, I would never dare to do that. And she was kind of mid-40s. And I thought, yeah, because I think once you've been through the menopause and life has chucked all that at you, you just think, whatever, you know, I am going to be me now. I'm going to be me.
This is what I've heard from another woman. She said exactly the same, that menopause opened the doors to be finally me, who I am.
Absolutely.
without feeling like being judged. I don't care now.
Yes.
I do what I want, and I'm feeling true to myself.
Yes.
Really.
I absolutely and utterly agree. And if you can embrace that menopause with that kind of approach and think, I will come through this.
Yeah.
I will. Whatever's going off in my body is amazing, unique. Everybody's going to go through it to some degree or other, But when I get to the other side, won't it be exciting and interesting to see who I am and what I've become? And certainly for me, from my point of view, my whole blooming career's changed. My whole life outlook in lots of areas has changed.
For better.
For the better. Absolutely. And I do feel more confident. And there were days when I never thought I'd feel confident again. But you do come through, and your body does adjust. It does settle. And I kind of flip back now and think, God, my teenage years, they were dire. But you come through them, don't you? You come through them. And again, it's all hormones. Yeah. Life is rubbish. Yeah. Let's eat our Haagen-Dazs because he's dumped us, And when you're going through the menopause, it's along the same lines. Those hormones are all out of kilter, all over the place. And we are feeling teary and we are feeling tired, and your body aches and it's tiny. It doesn't want to do anything some days. And I think there are days when you do have to honour that. Yeah. Not in the zone. I woke up this morning and I'll be quite frank and honest. I thought, I actually just want an extra half an hour in bed. That's so unlike me. And because it wasn't my norm, I thought, and you know what, I'm going to take that half an hour. So I just reset the alarm, nodded off, woke up, and I felt absolutely fine. And I think, when you're going through things in life, you do have to listen to your body. And if it needs that extra half hour or it needs a quieter day, that's when you can say no,
Yeah.
And just treat yourself occasionally to that little bit of quietness. Build in your breath, build in your mindfulness where you can, whether you're showering. I love putting laundry away. I love folding laundry, the smell of it.
Oh, God. Worst thing ever. Worst. But you can come to my house, Fran, then. You're invited.
I love it. I love, smoothing it down. I just say,
worst thing ever.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. So maybe don't fold your laundry to feel mindful.
No, that's definitely not calming me or no.
But for me it does. I love it, and I might not put it away. I might just fold it out of the tumble dryer or off the line. But just for those few minutes, just me and them soft cotton shirts.
At least you've noticed those things, and I think using that is observing yourself. For myself personally, is decluttering. In a moment when I'm decluttering or getting rid of the things or making tidy space, it makes me instantly feel better. And I feel like and it makes me present in the moment, because then I'm making a decision of that thing. So I feel like even if I say to myself, oh, I'm not going to be going for a coffee with someone, but I'm going to just spend time decluttering, I will feel good for it.
You will feel good.
And then it looks nice. There is that satisfaction. There's that dopamine release. Yeah. And it can be, sometimes, as you said, it's good to look at your own things that you do in the house and think what does make me feel mindful? What gives me, within those daily chores, even if they are repetitive, even if we do them every week, it's maybe there is something that actually is nice.
Absolutely.
Without judgment.
Without any judgment, yes, on my laundry folding. But I'm thinking of decluttering. We've just had a massive declutter, stuff outside that's all going to the tip, because I just thought, I need to declutter. The house is coming in on me, and I just need it to go out.
It's just overwhelming, and I feel in a moment like now we've got so much overwhelm with everything and overstimulation. In a moment when we declutter, we create a space for more something to come, for either January, for something for the new, and we're getting rid of all the old that doesn't serve us, or something that we don't connect anymore. And I feel like that brings that mental just space, I think, in a form of having a actual physical space around.
It does. Physical space, mental space, the two are very interlinked, very, very much. And I utterly agree with you, because I had that same thought, because in January I'm doing some new ventures and things, and I thought, and now I have space. Now I have space to deal with that. Yeah. Because everything is away, tidied, binned, gone kind of thing. And then I think, I get my book out and I can start planning.
Yeah,
I'm still a big list writer and things like that. But again, my to-do list has shifted. What I don't get through, I don't get through.
Yeah.
You know, the world is not going to end.
No.
Because I don't get to number 10 on my list or number 12. You know, it is not going to end. I am still me, whatever number I get to on the list, you know. But yes, I think physical, mental space, really important from that point
What else would you, Francine, add to that mindfulness toolkit for perimenopause or menopause women?
I would say things like your body scan. Really, really good to practice. Whether it's 5 minutes or you take 30 minutes to do a longer body scan.
How do you do a body scan?
Body scan. Usually people sit or lay down. Okay. However, you can do it just standing really briefly. But in essence, what you are doing is you're moving from top to toe and just checking in. What am I feeling? And just relaxing as you go. What am I noticing in my jaw? I'm holding my jaw, let it go. Your cheeks, let them go. Your ears. Sometimes you can feel tension in your ears. It sounds weird. Your scalp. Yeah. But once you start noticing it and feeling it, then you can let it go a little bit. All these little frowny bits that we get here. Yeah. So all you're doing is moving through your body one little bit at a time, noticing the sensations. Not necessarily trying to change them, just noticing my shoulders are hunched. Yeah. Very often when you notice it, they'll unhunch anyway. Yeah. When you notice it, oh gosh, my jaw is so tight. And then you go, I need a jaw. Yeah. Just the simple act of noticing and tuning into your body brings you into that moment and relaxes you down. Yeah. So it's not rocket science. It's just practice. And again, you'll find, usually you go from toe to top, to be quite honest. And you'll find by the time you get to your knees and you've relaxed your knees, you think, oh, kneecaps have gone, lovely. And then you think, I wonder what's for tea. Oh, I forgot to put the stuff out the freezer, didn't I? I did, yeah. Oh, back to my body scan. Where was I? Knee. Oh, thighs. Breathe in. Right, what am I noticing in my thighs? You know, am I holding them? Are they tight? Are they tingly? Are they achy? And then you'll set back off. And then by the time you get to your tummy, you'll have drifted again. Just draw it back. But do not judge yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Your mind will wander. That's what it does. That's how it looks after us. Yeah. You know, that's how it looks after us all day, every day. And it does a fantastic job. But sometimes, I always think, just like a toddler, you need some reins on it. And it needs pulling in, or a magpie. Oh, shiny things. Yeah. No shiny things. No running off. Come back to your breath. Don't judge it. Yeah, you'll see it's wandered, and you think, "Oh, crikey! I was thinking about dinner time." That's fine. Come back to my breath and set off again.
Are there any guided body scans? Or because I know myself, when I started meditating, I started with guided meditations. Body scan, not necessarily because I do that as a part of my yoga practice, but for someone who is brand new to it, it might be challenging because they feel like they need to create the same as somebody is coming to the class. They've never done any fitness is their life. And then somebody said like, oh, you just do squats, do the press ups. And they feel like, oh God, I don't know where to start. And I feel like it can be a barrier then because you don't know. So it's easier to start doing something when you're guided. And I feel like guided meditations or guided body scans can be very, very helpful. So do you know any places where somebody can go, or what is it? Is it YouTube, or is it more some apps on the phone?
There are apps. There's things like Headspace. There's lots on YouTube. I offer it as well. But from the point of view of if you're going on YouTube and your apps and things like that, find the voice that suits you, find the pace that suits you. Don't pick a 30-minute one straight off. Yeah. Because within 30 seconds, you'll be thinking, oh, for heaven's sake, how long do I have to lay still for? Yeah. You know, which you may do anyway. But choose a 5-minute. Yeah. Something like that. Something short to get you started. Yeah. And once, again, it's a skill. Once you've got it, you can stand in Tesco's and feel yourself getting frustrated with the person in front because the cash card won't work, and then they haven't got enough cash, and then they want to do the club card, and then they've got a coupon, and then they want another bag. Oh, I'll have a big, oh, I don't want that. And you just think, okay, breathe. Right, feet are all tense, knees are all tense, heart is racing, let it go.
This is one of my questions,
And
was
then let
like
it go.
how to use mindfulness in everyday situations rather than trying to make it
Don't make it special. Don't make it special. It's not a special thing. You have to come to a special room and be specially mindful.
Be sat in a lotus pose for half an hour.
It. Yeah, no, you don't. It never matters if you accomplish a lotus pose or not. You know, mindfulness is every day, any time, all day. You know, you don't have to be that, you know, Buddhist monk out in the wilds that never speaks to anybody for 50 years and lives on bread and water. You know. No, mindfulness is anytime. I used to use it a lot when I'd driven back from work, because I had a long drive back from work and lots of things going off, and I'd probably made phone calls in the car about work, and got back, and before I came into a house full of kids and things like that, I'd just think, engine off. All those things at work, I can now leave behind. I've dealt with everything. I've done everything. And then I would just pop my hands down and just take a little time to breathe. Just a little time to breathe. Regroup myself almost. I mean, the word is grounding. But if you want to say reset, regroup, get ready for coming into your home. You've got your children, okay? They're buzzing. They're a nightmare, but you love them. And they're waiting for you. Your husband's probably ready to make you a cup of tea, or you'll have to make it yourself, you know. But just shift from work and just bring yourself back with a little bit of breathing, a little bit of moment, and then go in.
And that was my another question. Other women come back from work stressed, or whatever happened in the day. They come and bring all those feelings and stress and anxieties, and they use alcohol, use food for comfort. And this is the coping strategy. So they come and they feel like they are powerless over those habits because they don't have any tools, any strategies to use. So somebody comes back home and they feel so stressed, so they just reach for chocolate, reach for crisps or glass of wine to switch off, to make that mark on it. This is the end of the day. This is my time now. I can just switch off and relax. And it can become quite a dangerous habit, especially around the menopause and perimenopause, when alcohol is not very supportive, because the sleep is already disrupted.
And it just makes it worse.
So what a woman in that situation can do, instead of grabbing that glass of wine?
I think, you know, that is very much where your give me a moment comes in. And I used to come through the door and 3 girls were like, woof, you know, and I'd be like, whoa, give me a moment. I have literally just come through the door. I want to hear you all. I want to listen to you all. Give me a moment. Let me put my work back down. Let me go and put the kettle on. And then I'll be with you, kind of thing. And they'd still be chitter-chattering in the background and probably, you know, doing their thing. But I knew I needed to put my work back, step into mum mode, get the kettle on and get it started. And then, right, guys, tell me, you know. So I think, again, you do have to look after yourself. It's keeping those boundaries at times, even with your family and things like that. And, you know, at the end of the evening, because I think you get swept up by the family and doing everything, and there's sandwiches to make for the next day, and there's uniforms to lay out, and there's things to be done. And I get that. But when you get to the end, rather than reaching for that, think, right, how am I going to look after myself right now? Rather, if I don't want to reach for that, what am I going to do? I know it sounds random, but a lot of my ladies swear by legs up the wall. And I don't mean that in any weird way. So
I don't know what you mean, but maybe somebody who's watching us or listening to us maybe think like, oh God, what's this?
You're on about? It is a yoga pose, but basically you shuffle your bum as close to the wall as you can and your legs are up. Yeah. It's an inversion. It's a gentle way of doing it. And just laying there without any special breath, just 5 or 10 minutes. I know sometimes it's hard to find a wall without a radiator nowadays. So if you're going to use a door, make sure everybody knows that you're behind that door or they're upstairs asleep. But stay there. And I promise you, within 5 or 10 minutes, you'll feel a whole lot better. It's a really nice, easy nervous reset. Very easy. And once you've done that, hopefully the inclination for the wine, for the chocky box, lessens, and then you can make a slightly better decision and think, okay, I'll have a cup of tea, that kind of thing, or I'll treat myself. You know, I used to get non-alcoholic stuff in as well, because I'd been there, done that, and thought, oh, I'll have a glass of wine, it's my time now. Especially when I was on my own with the girls, you know, There was
like a
nobody
little
else.
reward sometimes as well at the end of the day, because you made
it to the end. Yeah, absolutely. So I totally understand that, you know, but if you can give yourself a little bit of breathing space, and then sometimes we make slightly better decisions, hopefully, you know. And if you do feel that need, and I know non-alcohol, it's not the same, but it's pretty good nowadays in the flavour department, you know. And if you want to treat yourself, choose something like that. You know, yoga nidra is really nice. Progressive relaxation is really nice. Working through each bit, tightening, letting go.
Yeah.
And I like that very much.
I love progressive relaxation.
Yes. And I think it's because we're like this a lot of the time. Yeah. So when you're doing that consciously, and then you go, and you think, oh my God, that's what relax feels like, is it? Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. And you hunch up and you're, oh, that's so good. Yeah. So again, progressive relaxation can be really, really nice, because I think it literally, absolutely literally shows you where you're at to where you want to be. Yeah. So again, legs up the wall, progressive relaxation. I would highly recommend. Again, lots of apps out there. And once you've been through it, you can do it yourself.
Yeah, it's repeating it for a few times until you start remembering, and then you can just do it yourself with time, because it's just very much the same. So that then sticks in your mind, and you kind of start knowing like, oh, I don't need that anymore, and I can do it myself.
And your body responds quicker as well. Because like anything in life, it gets used to it, and you train it. Just as you train it away from the alcohol into relaxation, just as you train yourself from going, oh my God, to...
The more you practice something, the better you become, and then the easier it is.
The quicker your body will respond, and it'll know what you're doing. It'll think, oh yeah, we want to go away from that feeling. It's not a great place to be, is it? No, let's shift that feeling then. Let's shift it. Let's shift where we are, and let's go to something more positive, more relaxed, and then we can feel better about ourselves, make better decisions. And alcohol is crap when it comes to the sleep. Absolutely anathema. It really is. So kind of reward are we giving ourselves, you know? So if we can find something that is better for us, you know, that still feels good.
It's like swapping habit for another habit. The best way of trying to get rid of the habit is swapping for something else, which is not as detrimental to health, or maybe,
Yes, absolutely agree. And yoga nidra is really nice, you know, kind of that nearly asleep, but not asleep relaxation as well. Again, you'll find it on lots of apps. I know in my yoga classes, sometimes I do yoga nidra to finish, that kind of thing. Yin yoga as well. If you're not feeling particularly in the yoga energetic zone, yin yoga is really nice because it's still, and it's releasing your fascia. And your fascia at the end of the day is full of nerves, you know, and they tense up. So if you can just lay there in butterfly for 5 minutes, steady breath, again, it's amazing what happens to your body. And I think the problem is, at times, sometimes we look for a very quick fix, don't we? We look for a tablet. We think, you know, HRT is going to fix everything. It's not. It's going to fix a certain part, you know, or that medication is going to fix it. It's going to stop the flooding. It's going to make you be able to go out. But it's not going to solve everything. So if you can find something, whether it's yoga, breathing, whether it's taking up running, you know, the couch to 5K kind of thing I've known people do, whatever it is, find what works for you, that shifts you from that, oh, I feel awful, life's crap, it's never going to change feeling. They won't if we sit there.
It's giving yourself a little goal and a little purpose to get through it with some purpose through it.
Absolutely. And I think that really is key, giving your menopause some purpose, not just
seeing all the negatives of it and just getting that spotlight on all the negatives.
Find out about yourself. Find out how you relax. You know, it's your one time in life that it really do you amazing power of good. And then you've got it for life. You know, when family are driving you nuts later in life, or things happen, or job doesn't go according to plan, you know how to come home and relax because you learned it.
Yeah.
You know what works for you.
Yeah. And practices too.
And I think, it can bring a lot of good things from like that, from that point of view. And you learn a lot about yourself, as you go through all these phases of life, and then you come out the other end and you think, nailed it. Nailed it.
Is there anything else, Francine, that we haven't mentioned, or anything that you had in your notes that we didn't have a flick through your
Here's
notes?
my note. Here's my note.
Because you've got so many notes, and I know it's sometimes we speak about things and we kind of flow through the conversation, but just like if the main points we've covered and main tools and practices to use for everyone, even for someone who's never ever done any mindfulness.
That's it. And I think, throughout, I've just made a note here, be grateful for all your body does for you. Like arms that give great hugs, legs that take you out all day, every day. You walk the dog, your heart beats, I'm breathing. My body is evolving, and I'll be patient. Yeah. I will be patient. And I think for me, that's the biggest takeaway with, going through your menopause. My body is changing. I will be patient. I have things that I can use, things that I can turn to, things that I can access. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to move through this as armed as I possibly can, working for myself, finding out what works. And as I go through that and change, so I will come out the other end different, yet still me, a little spin on me. So try and keep that positive element. And I know that's hard, especially, days implode some days, don't they? But just try and hang on to something positive. It is a process. And I damn well will come out the other end of this. And there's lots of things around that can help me, So hang on to that. Hang on to it. Yeah. Say no. Ask for help. Yeah. There's no shame in asking for help.
It's been great advice, because obviously you went through it, so you can see that it's not just in the moment how it feels. You were before, through, and you're after. Yes. So you can give that perspective and experience, because a lot of women are in the moment when you're in something which doesn't feel good. It's hard to see that light in a tunnel.
So hard.
It's hard because you don't know where you're going. You don't know how it feels. So I think like it's easier to see that perspective in a moment where you're already over it. It's the people, as they get through traumatic events, they go through it and they can like share their experiences because they've been there, they went there, and they can give hope that there is something out there worth. So you're going through it because there is something out there worth going through all those feelings.
Yes.
And I think that's been a great insight, not just from the tools and mindfulness that you've given us today, but also from the perspective of the hope.
Yes, hope. There is hope.
Yeah.
Please never give up in your menopause. Hope. Hold on to that. You are an amazing individual. You've been through so much in life, and you will get through this. You will. And at the end of it, you'll be doubly bloody amazing. You really, really will. Just keep going. Keep going.
Is there anything else, Francine, that you would want to add, or is that thing we've covered everything for today?
I think so. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time today, and for your sharing all the tips. And it's been very helpful. And I'm pretty sure lots of girls will be now trying legs up the wall. Oh yeah, and practicing those little things to give themselves a pause. But it's been great. It's been great to catch up and hearing your experience and sharing it with us. So thank you very much for your time. I will tag you, and I will put your contact details as well in the bottom. So then, if anybody is interested in any sessions with you from mindfulness or classes or sessions online, your details will be there to contact you directly as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.